Welcome to Sarkhan the Masterless. Ooh, playing against Ayara, which should be pretty fun. Mono red versus mono black. And as far as opening hand goes, yes, we're going to keep on this one. I like this a lot. We have 3 mountains, we have Shock, we have Mana Geode, and we do have Karn, the great creator, and the great content creator. That's me whenever I release a video I'm really happy about. Let's go and have a Swamp enter the battlefield. Not Swamp, a Mountain. And then pass the turn to our opponent. So we're playing Sarkhan the Masterless. Whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, each dragon you control deals 1 damage to that creature. Then for a +1, each planeswalker you control becomes a 4/4 red dragon, gains flying. Then for a -3, create a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying. Opponent's going to go for Foulmire Knight, which is just a 1/1 death touch. Do we want to trade a Shock for that? I think we're okay. Yeah, we're good on that. If we need to do something about that, we can. So let's go for Bag of Holding. Let's have that enter the battlefield, and then pass it back over to our opponent. Playing against Ayara. Ayara, whenever Ayara or another black creature enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Then for an activated ability, sacrifice another black creature, draw a card. So there we go. Cover both commanders. It is officially free time, and let's have some fun. So Sarkhan, I am super excited about this deck. This deck is a ton of fun. I played a standard version of this not that long ago, and you just get these planeswalkers going, and it's some good magic. All right, so that's gonna be electrostatic field. Yeah, let's go and leave that on top. Now that will probably get us to end up going for Shock on Foulmire Knight, but let's just go and wait and see if our opponent has anything else that we might be able to grab with Shock. But I kind of like going for that because once we get down electrostatic field, that's definitely going to be a great way for us to kind of protect a lot of our planeswalkers. And look at the art on that. It looks pretty good. All right, so we're going to have Ayara enter the battlefield. Let's go for Shock on Foulmire Knight. And that's just going to be a 2/3, and this electrostatic field is really going to be able to kind of stop them down. So let's go Mountain. And actually, if we just go Sarkhan, let's do this. Let's do some setting up. So we can go +1, deals 1 damage up to each 2 target creatures. Yeah, let's just have Electrostatic enter the battlefield, because if they want to swing in with the Yara, they certainly can, but I kind of like this. So let's just go and pass the turn to our opponent. We still have Bag of Holding open too, so we can actually draw a card and then discard a card. But more than likely, we're going to hold on to both of these, so we'll see what we rip into, but I'm probably going to hold on to these, because once you get these Planeswalkers down, you go for that +1. It is so hard for your opponent to stop that sometimes. All right, opponent's going to go for Liliana's Triumph. I'm not sure what we could dig for to get out from this, but we'll at least try to find something. Burning Prophet. Okay, well, that's something that we can do. Yeah, we'll still go and get rid of it because we need Planeswalkers. So we do have to sacrifice a creature, and Liliana's Triumph is a wonderful card for Brawl. So if you're thinking about getting into that, or at least getting into Brawl, I highly recommend Liliana's Triumph. It is a very strong card. So let's have Mountain enter the battlefield. And I think if we just go Karn, yeah, let's do that. So let's go Karn. Until our next turn, that's going to make Mana Geode. Yeah, let's go on +1 on Mana Geode. That's going to make it a 3/3, and we can definitely block Ayara from swinging in. So we're not going to swing in. No attacks, and then we're just going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. So once we get down a few more creatures, one of the things you do want to keep in mind is that with Sarkhan, if you just played a Planeswalker, it's not going to have haste. You're just going to have a dragon that's floating in the air. So you want to kind of deploy your creatures out if you can. And so that'll allow you to, once you end up going for Sarkhan, going for that +1, that really does kind of help you push pretty nice game plans. All right, so they're going to go for Bacon a Pie. Yeah, that's fine. They got it. So we're going to let that resolve. That's going to get rid of Mana Geode. And if they want to swing in for 2 at Karn, that's perfectly fine. So, all right, we're going to see Sanitarium Skeleton enter the battlefield. This could be one more pinging effect for us, but this should be a pretty good match. I kind of like what's happening so far. And look at that pie token over there. All right, so we got Ayara swinging in at Karn, and then we run into Ironcrag Feet. I think we'll hold on to that. I guess at this point. So if we want to set what I was talking about, yeah, let's do that. So we go for Rowan. We're going to have her enter the battlefield. We're going to go for the +1 up to 1 target creature. We're going to not click any of their creatures. Let's go for the +1. And if we lose Bag of Holding, we lose Bag of Holding. And hey, it is what it is. So no attacks. At least we can like throw Bag of Holding in front of another creature. So next turn we're looking at just casting Sarkhan. We're going to be able to go for the +1. We're going to have some, oh, look at that, a Vindictive Vampire. So they've got a nice little Aristocrats package going on their side. But at this point, with a 2-3 swinging across and a 1-2, we can definitely take these hits and have a Bag of Holding still kind of stick around. Now, one of the cool things about doing Sarkhan is you can go for those activated abilities and then still have it swing in as a 4/4 dragon, which is some pretty good magic right there. So that's going to be Witch's Cottage, and then we run into another land for the turn. So at this point, I think we go +1 up on Karn. Target Bag of Holding. And let's go. Let's have Mountain enter the battlefield. Let's have Sarkhan come down. Yeah, they just simply become a 4/4 dragon. So let's give First Strike to Bag of Holding. That's going to make it a 4/1, so we can deal with anything out there. Let's go for the +1. Oh, look at this combat swing. All right, so we're going to swing in with the entire crew. Karn's a dragon. We got Rowan being a dragon, and we've got a 4/1 First Strike. Look at this damage. Oh, yes, yes, yes. This is beautiful. All right, it's going to put them down to 16, then we pass the turn. So they're going to have to swing the entire crew at Sarkhan if they want to stop it. And even if they do that, that's still going to leave Sarkhan at 1 and still allow us to swing in. So that's going to be, all right, so this is going to be Foulmire Knight. And that still gives us the opportunity to go for the +1 on Karn, or at least on Rowan, to give that. All right, so they're going to go God Eternal Bantu. They're going to get a little. This is a pretty good little game. I'm liking what's happening so far. So let's see what they decide to sacrifice. Okay, that puts them back up to 19. And we've got ourselves a little bit of a race. Let's see how they want to swing in. They can go for an Ayara activation to sacrifice a creature if they wanted to go for Sanitarium Skeleton. They don't have the mana to bring it back out of the graveyard. But yeah, they're definitely kind of in a tough spot. Now, we do have to watch out for God Eternal Bantu next turn. That will pretty much be able to take care of any sort of Planeswalker that we have left. So they're going to take a little bit of damage. Just going to get rid of Rowan. And then we're going to run into Tybalt. Okay, so let's go for an activation, draw a card, discard a card. Ooh, Chandra, okay. Let's get rid of, I think, Ironcrag at this point. Yeah, let's go and get rid of that. We're going to exile it out of our graveyard. Let's go for the +1, up to 1 target artifact creature. And since Bag of Holding is like that, and then we can go for one more. If we want to go for the Tybalt, we can get an extra devil on the battlefield. That might be good. Now, if we actually end up going for Chandra, we can get a few extra loyalty counters on each red Planeswalker. Because that'll be 4, that'll be 5. Tybalt comes down, that's going to be a -2. Yeah, let's go for Tybalt, because at this point, we're going to be able to go for the -2 and get that devil on the battlefield. I kind of like that. So we're going to plus up, have our creatures become dragons. Let's go and swing in with the entire crew. It's going to knock them down to 11. And we'll see how they want to swing in. So at this point, they're almost going to have to swing God Eternal and one of their creatures at Sarkhan to get rid of it. That still gives us Karn, access to Karn. They're going to mass for 1. Now, this is mono red. I can't remember if we have any sweepers in here. We do have Lava Coil that will allow us to kind of deal some. We do have Slaying Fire. So we do have some options in here. We also do have Risk Factor. That's another thing that we can do to maybe get some card advantage and kind of go for that. We also have Heartfire too if we want to sacrifice a permanent. So it looks like they're going to be sitting the entire crew in at Sarkhan. And with us sitting at 6, man, if we can hit one more land, and then we actually, so that's going to be Ayara swinging at Sarkhan, God Eternal Bantu, and then, so let's block Vindictive Vampire, because that's just going to be, let me make sure we're looking at that right. Vindictive Vampire is, no, swinging at us. Sometimes it's kind of hard to see. No, excuse me, Vindictive Vampire swinging in at Sarkhan. So we do want that to, either way they're going to get rid of it, so that's probably not going to be a good block. And if we're going to go for the -2, let's block on Sanitarium Skeleton. Yeah, that'll be good. Because we're going to lose Sarkhan, but hopefully, fingers crossed, we hit a mountain, and then we can still swing in for some damage. Let's have Sarkhan go to the command zone. And we're going to send this damage up top at this point right now. It's going to put them down to 10. And then we run into a Brimstone Trebuchet. Okay, so we can't cast. Unfortunately, we can't cast Sarkhan, so let's go ahead and dig, but this is not looking good. That was a really they got off to a really good start for our opponent. We can get a few more creatures down, but I don't think it's going to do much. So let's get rid of Brimstone. That way we can at least go for Chandra and go for Spear Spewer. So that's going to be Chandra. And let's go for Spear Spewer. That's going to be an extra creature on the battlefield at this point. Let's go for the -2. That's going to give us a Devil token on the battlefield. Let's go +1. We're going to click OK. Let's go for Chandra. We're going to be able to go for the 0 ability. That would just give us a little bit of an extra buffer. If we somehow stick around with all of these Planeswalkers, because I don't know if they actually have just enough lethal. Ooh, okay. If you get an 8/8 flyer down, that definitely does kind of stop our game plan. But you can see, this is what I'm talking about with Brawl. Even though it looks like we maybe are going to lose the game, you still have these interesting board states. It's a lot of fun, and it's, Brawl and Commander are very much the same, but with Brawl, you just always have these just thriving board states that are just really fun to play against. You always have a lot of interesting lines of play to go for, and so we'll see if we can survive this one. We have Sanitary Skeleton on Tybalt, and then that's going to be God Eternal Bantu on Chandra. Oh man, this is okay. That is a lot of arrows coming across. So let's kind of see. That's going to be Zombie Army at Tybalt. That's going to be at Tybalt. That's going to be at Chandra. We're going to have to let that go. That's going to be at Karn. That's going to be at Tybalt. So either way, I don't think we can block and make this survive. Okay, so let's block. Because there's 1, 2. They've got 3 swinging in. So we block on Sanitarium. Block on Lazotep, and I think that keeps Tybalt around because it's going to be swinging in for 1. I think if I saw it's really, I promise you, it's kind of hard to see where the arrows exactly are going. So, so it's going to get rid of Chandra. We're going to deal 1 more damage up top to our opponent. It's going to put them down to 9. And they're going to cash in a card draw still. So let's see what we rip into. We have Sarkhan. Even if we do that, that's still not going to be just enough. So they're going to sacrifice another creature just to get a little bit of an extra bonus off of a Vindictive Vampire and cash in a card draw. And we run into Light Up the Stage. Okay. So I guess we just go for an activation with Spear Spewer. We're going to draw a card. We're going to go for Light Up the Stage. At this point, we're just kind of digging. That's going to be Salvager and Spinning Wheel. Yeah, I think they're going to be able to get it on this one. So we go Spinning Wheel. That's going to give 2. That's going to be 1 more mana. We can go for Salvager of Ruin. And then we go for the +1 on Bag of Holding to make it a 1/1 dude. No attacks, and then we're just going to pass the turn. I don't know if we survive on this, because that's going to be 8 in the air, which we cannot stop. That's going to be Menace on God Eternal Bantu. Yeah, I'm pretty sure opponent's going to get in on this one, and especially once they get in on Liliana, and they go for that plus ability once they tax that out. So I hadn't built Ayara yet because I wasn't sure how strong it could be, but you can see, look at this. This is a very nice board state our opponent has gotten down. A whole motley crew of creatures, and they're all very angry at Sarkhan trying to take Ayara's castle with all of his storming dragons. But we're going to have to sacrifice 2 creatures. We'll go ahead and we could have brought something back to the hand, but either way, it's just, we'll let them get this one. And yeah, with those, especially with those Vindictive Vampire and those Liliana triggers. Oh, look at that card draw. That is a wonderful, wonderful win by our opponents. Okay, and our opponent's going to swing in with Villas at our Planeswalkers, but maybe they're... Let's see if they want to redo these blocks, because we got an open board. Yeah, there we go. That's the right line of play for sure. All right, so they're going to be swinging in, and they're going to put us down to exactly 11. Yeah, there we go. That's the better line of play. Good game to our opponent. They're going to get it on this one. Hopefully we can get a win with this one. We're going to try next game to get some really good Sarkhan, but you can see how much pressure we can get on an opponent, being able to turning your Planeswalkers into 4/4 dragons. But I will see you in the next game. Welcome to Sarkhan the Masterless. Ooh, playing against Golos, Mr. Tireless Pilgrim over there. See what we're in store for, because that's technically going to be a 5-color Brawl deck. As far as our opening hand goes, we've got Arcane. Yeah, I like this. That's That's some pretty good ramp right there, especially with Chandra. Yeah, I think we keep on this, especially, and then Spear Spear is going to be a great option for us to hopefully block some of the creatures. Well, we'll see what our opponent's got. It's probably Field of the Dead Golos, which, if it is, definitely be interesting. So we'll see if our opponent wants to keep their opening hand, and then we'll get this game started. Oh, there we go. They're good. All right, so we're going to keep on this one, and I think they're on the play. So at least this is great sequencing. We're going to have a turn 1 play, turn 2, turn 3, and then hopefully that should power out a pretty quick Sarkhan, and hopefully we can outramp the ramp deck. But yes, welcome to some Dragons and some Planeswalkers playing against Golos, Tireless Pilgrim. Whenever Golos enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a land card, put that land onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. I'll cover the rest of that in just a second. So let's go for Spear Spewer. Have that enter, and then pass the turn. And then for a 2-mana Wooburg activation, exile the top 3 cards of your library. You may play land. You may play them this turn without paying their mana cost. So we've got Arcane Signet. Now we did draw into Embercleave, which is pretty cool for this deck. So I'll kind of explain what we've got going on here in a second. Let's have Mountain come down. Let's go for Arcane Signet. And oh, this is just going to be good. Anything else now? We're going to pass the turn. So we're going to leave up a Spear Spewer because we can go for that 1 damage. You know, every point of damage matters, especially in a deck like this. And so if we can really kind of get ahead on the damage race, and especially start to get some of these Planeswalkers going with these Dragons, that'll be a pretty good option for us. So let's go and pass it over to our turn. Let's go for the Spear Spewer activation. It's going to put them down to 24. Ooh, and then Electrostatic Field. But yeah, I think at this point, we go Spinning Wheel. And then we go for Castle. It's going to enter the battlefield. And then, yeah, we can still actually go for Electrostatic Field. That's perfect. All right, we're going to have that enter, and then pass the turn to our opponent. So we are at exactly 5 total mana, so we can actually go for Jaya. So we probably might end up going for Jaya. Yeah, I think that'll be good. Now, if we hit the land drop, we'll go for Chandra, and that'll be... we'll get some really good emblems going, and I think that'll be really, really nice. So let's go for Spear Spewer. It's going to be 1 damage up top. You know, as long as the ship is syncing with both of us, that's going to be pretty good. Ooh, and then Torbrand. Yeah, let's do this. So let's go for Jaya. Yeah, that'll be good because we can get that down. We can go for the -2 to our opponent. And then next turn we can go for Sarkhan. Yeah, that'll be good. And then we're simply just going to go and pass the turn. So we did cover both commanders. As far as this build of Sarkhan, this you may have seen it in game 1, or I don't know how I'm going to splice these together. But with Sarkhan, this is just such a fun deck to play. Even if you don't win, just being able to turn your Planeswalkers into 4/4 Dragons, and also just toss in a quick little Embercleave, that's some good magic right there. So now hopefully we hit the land drops because our opponents already got Golos down, and then that will be probably Field of the Dead because they're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that'll be 6. So, but one of the good things, though, if you know about Magic lore, in the land of zombies, the flying dragons are king. So hopefully we can tax our opponent out with this life total and just really get their life total down pretty low. So we're going to go for Spear Spewer. We'll wait and see if our opponent wants to swing in. Probably not, because with Electrostatic Field, we're going to be able to stop it. The only thing we need to watch out for, yeah, I was about to say, we're going to see if they're going to go for a activation. So they will end up going for that. Let's see what creature's going to come down. And with Golos being 5, that's going to allow them to go for at least a 6-drop creature. So we're going to see what's in store for us. Ravager Worm. Okay. Fight target creature you don't control. And they're going to probably fight Spear Spewer, I would assume. Yeah, that's going to happen. So let's go for Spear Spewer. I'm just going to put it down to 19, put us up to 21. And let's see where they decide to swing in. If they want to swing in at Jaya, we're definitely going to toss Electrostatic Field in front of that creature. So, all right, so it's going to knock that down. Now with Sarkhan, yeah, and then we do hit the land for the turn too. That is good. All right, so let's go. We can end up going for Chandra. And if we want to, we can go for the -5. That's going to get rid of Ravager Worm. But do we want to be aggressive on this one? We are playing mono red, and I feel like we can race our opponent a lot quicker. Yeah, let's do this. So let's go for the -2. We're going to do 2 damage up top. It's going to put them down to 17. Let's go for Sarkhan. Let's go for the +1. It's going to make it a 6. Let's go and swing in with Jaya. I mean, I think that should be 5 total damage. Yeah, no, excuse me. It's going to put them down to 13, and then we'll pass the turn. So Now we'll see how they decide to swing in. They do have Ravager Worm that can take care of Jaya, but they also might want to deal with Sarkhan because we can actually toss in Torbran, and that'll make it to where both of them are going to be swinging in for almost lethal because it's going to be 4, that'll be 6 if we can somehow deal a little bit of extra damage. Another thing that we can do is we can actually go for Chandra. Once we get that down, get that +2 going for that emblem, that'll really kind of start chipping away at their life total. But let's see what's in store for us for this turn because I haven't even, well, no, I did build a Golos deck, so I'll be recording with that soon, but, you know, I built like 20 Brawl decks, and I didn't really know exactly where, where the meta would fall in or how quick these games would go, but so far the decks that I've built have been pretty decent. They've been able to hold their own, so I've been pretty excited about that. One thing that we do have, we want to keep in mind, is we have Ember Cleave, so we can swing it with 2, that'll make it 4 total mana. I don't know if we'll actually be able to... All right, so we're going to see the entire crew swinging at Sarkhan. Yeah, they're going to get rid of it. Yeah, that I can see that. That's something you definitely want to deal with. And we'll put that into the command zone. And if we actually just go Chandra, if we want to try to grind this game out, ooh, and the Flame Sweep is going to be wonderful against Field of the Dead. Oh, and especially with Torbran. Because I think that'll clean out the entire board. Okay, so we go Chandra, we go +2. They're going to have to swing the entire crew in. Yeah, I think I kind of like this. So we're going to go Chandra. We're going to go for the +2. Now, they might have counter magic. If they do, they do. All right, so we're going to go for the +2. Because if we can get this emblem going, we kind of get in this weird spot where we might be able to kind of grind this game out. Because that's going to be 4, 6. They're going to have to send all of them at Chandra. And they're going to flash in Lochmere Serpent. So flash, can't be blocked this turn. Sacrifice an island swamp. Exile 5 cards from an opponent's graveyard. Okay. So they got some good stuff going. Now, if we can, this is going to be 5. This is going to be 4, 5, 6. If we run into one more land, this Flame Sweep is going to be really good because that's going to be 4 damage. Oh, look at this. That is that's a mess of creatures over there. But if we can rip into a land for the turn, we have Torbran +4. That still keeps a lot of them out there, but yeah, that Lochmere Flash was pretty good. So it looks like they're going to be able to clean up on this one. Unfortunately, that's just the nature of a 5-color deck. You pretty much can jam every threat in there sometimes. So that's going to put us down to, let's see, that's going to be 17. And they run to Interplanar Beacon. Now that is a land drop for the turn. Now, that will be 4 damage if we go for Torbran. But it's not going to get rid of the big threats over here, which is going to be those creatures. So if we go Sarkhan, that's going to allow them to go for that next turn. We do have a 5-mana activation from Spinning Wheel that we can go for. I guess we just go Torbran and Flame Sweep. Not super wild about it. But yeah, we need to kind of clean some of this up. So we're going to go Torbran. We're going to go Flame Sweep. Okay, now that we're facing down some pretty big threats. We got a serpent, we've got a hog, and we've got a big old worm over there. And so this just, look at that. Imagine if you're a Dungeons & Dragons party. You got to come up against that, and poor Torbran, Mr. Dwarf over there with a battle axe. Probably not going to be able to do much about that. So, in fact, that's going to be 13. That's going to be 17 coming across. They do have lethal, so that will force us to end up going for Torbran for a block. So... And now they can sacrifice an island to make it unblockable. And so that's something that they can also do. So unfortunately, yeah, with Golos being able to get just Field of the Dead, that is just such a good card. And them getting some very nice threats. They curved out very wonderfully into that. So, and just building a 5-color threat deck sounds like a pretty good deal. Let's see even if Ilharg has something to add on to that. I'm about to say, if that was Enrace Forerunners, oh my goodness. All right, so it's going to be Thief of Sanity. It's going to be 7. We block on that. It's going to be 10, 12. I guess we still block on Lochmere. I'm not wild about it, but don't want to lose the game, too, at the same time. So, okay, that's going to put us down to 5. I don't think there's any way we can draw ourselves out of this game, but we're going to see. We're going to go to our draw step and then scoop this one up. So they're going to dump a few more cards into the graveyard. With Thief of Sanity. Look at Thief of Sanity being creepy over there. And run into Mountain. So yeah, good game to our opponent. They're going to get it on this one. It was a pretty good game. It was fun. This is why Brawl is fun. Get to see this entire crew of creatures close it out. But I will see you in the next game. Welcome to Sarkhan, playing against Niv-Mizzet. Oh, hopefully we can take care of Niv-Mizzet. We've got Firemine Vessel. Yeah, I'm not super wild about this hand. Typically, you want to be able to ramp out pretty quick. So let's go for a free mulligan. And yes, I like this a lot. So it's going to be Karn. It's going to be Chromatic Lantern. Yes, we will definitely keep on this one. And especially playing its 5-color deck, more than likely you're going to see some artifacts hanging around in there. So if we can get those shut off with Karn, that'll be a pretty good deal. So that's going to be Temple of Mystery. And playing against Niv-Mizzet, whenever Niv enters the battlefield, really top 10 cards of your library. For each color pair, choose a card that is exactly those colors from among them, put them in your hand, and the rest go on the bottom of your library in a random order. And Karn's Bastion does come into play untapped, so we'll wait for that for next turn. And then pass turn over opponent. So we have Karn's Bastion. That's going to be Chromatic Lantern. That does allow us to go for Karn. Pretty much when you're playing this deck, what you want to do is be able to get ahead on mana as quickly as possible and get down Planeswalkers as quickly as possible. And being able to shut off that Arcane Signet is going to be a very nice feeling. So let's go for Chromatic Lantern, and that's going to be Karn's Bastion. And hopefully, yeah, because we need to get that down, because the quicker we can stop Niv-Mizzet from being able to get on the battlefield and gets, and especially that Circuitous Route too. Yeah, if you're new to Brawl, if you're new to Commander, running ramp spells and artifacts are one of the best ways you can play in a singleton format, simply because it's just such a strong thing to get ahead on mana sometimes. So I'm just going to go for Karn. Have Karn into the battlefield. Now we can plus up on 1, but I'd hate to lose it to a random artifact spell. So we're just going to submit for 0 on this and keep Chromatic Lantern safe and sound. So at the very least, we'll see what we draw into, but at least next turn we do have Sarkhan to go for. Typically, if you're playing Sarkhan, at least a heavy Planeswalker build, you want to deploy your Planeswalkers out and then wait for Sarkhan to be the very last thing, because you're going to get some good utility from these activations, and then you can also go for the activations, then go for Sarkhan, turn him into a dragon, and have some fun with that. But we're actually almost getting to a Chandra. If we run into a land next turn, that's going to allow us to go for Chandra, which would be a pretty good deal. So we do have Electro Dominance. It's going to deal X damage to any target. So if we can just kind of boop a Planeswalker in really quick, that'll probably be pretty good for us. So Scorching Dragonfire, 3 damage target creature or Planeswalker. Yeah, actually, I think I kind of like this because we want to get rid of Raoul. So we're going to go for +1 on Chromatic Lantern. Turn it into a 3/3 person. Let's go and swing in with Chromatic Lantern at... this is what makes Brawl fun, is you get to swing in with Chromatic Lantern at Raoul Zarek. Let's knock it down to 3. Let's go Scorching Dragonfire on Raoul Zarek. We just want to stop that card advantage. It's so important to stop that. And then nothing else for 2, so we're simply just going to go and pass the turn over there. We will probably end up going for Sarkhan, because we need to... The longer our opponent can stick around and get more stuff on the battlefield, the worse it is for us. So we're going to probably try to get down Sarkhan pretty soon, and then going for those +1s, because worst case scenario, we're looking at a full 4, and then next turn that's going to be 8, so that's going to be 12. That's going to be half their life total in 2 turns, and then we can drop in something with Electro Dominance. So Feyburrow Elder, +1 for each color among permanents that you control. That probably might actually end up being a pretty good option for Electro Dominance. So let's see what we draw into. And that's going to be Firemine Vessel. Yeah, since we're not hitting the lands, let's go for that line of play. So let's just try to sneak this damage in as quickly as possible. Let's go for the +1 off of Karn. And we're going to click submit for 0. Just want to get that loyalty going. And let's go for the +1. Let's go and swing in with Karn. Look at that. Dragon Karn. Dragon Karn activated. And then pass the turn. And this is one of the fun things about the deck, is imagining like a Dragon Wings just like popping out of Karn. I don't know. It's just such a wholesome thing to see. Now, we are in Niv-Mizzet territory. Our opponent can go for Niv-Mizzet. That will allow them to get a lot of stuff in their hand, but that's going to be 8 damage next turn coming across. If we go for Jaya, we're going to be able to deal an extra damage with Jaya, which is going to be pretty nice. And then if they get a Planeswalker down, I'd like to make a few more land drops if we can. But with 2 creatures swinging in, that's going to be 4. We might actually be able to drop in Embercleave and give double strike. Oh, that stings the nostrils. Casualties of War. Oh, goodness. That... When you get like a 3-for-1 off Casualties of War, that is rough. Oh my goodness. Okay. So Kaya's on the battlefield. We're down to 3 mana. Okay. All right. And then we got Feyburrow Elder just to kind of add injury to insult. Oh no. All right. So we do hit a land. That's good. And Yeah, we need to go Firemind Vessel because that'll allow us to kind of get back in the exact same spot that we were at. Let's go for the +1. We're going to turn Sarkhan into a dragon. At this point, I don't think we really need to even worry about... Yeah, we don't need to worry about Kaya, so we're just going to swing in with Sarkhan. We need to close this game out. Now, Niv-Mizzet does have flying, but if we can get into enough mana, thankfully that Firemind Vessel did allow us to reset on this one to get back into mana, because we get stuck at 3 mana, we are dead. All right, so the reveal card is going to be Forest, Time Wipe, and Flux Channeler. And that's what's going to go into the hand. So we can go ahead and cross those off because we can actually see that's going to be, oh, excuse me, Time Wipe and Oko. So we're going to send Sarkhan back to the command zone. All right, and then Oko. Goodness, yeah, running into 5-color decks is pretty rough in Brawl so far. They can definitely take over the game. So that's got Niv-Mizzet, and they're going to exile, just getting the graveyard picked apart at this point right now. And with Oko being able to create a food token, oh goodness, and especially Time Wipe. Okay, so Interplanar Beacon. So we do have 1, 2, 6. We do have 7 mana. So we can drop in J at the end of the turn. Yeah, let's do that. Well, so if we go for Chandra, that's just immediately going to get hit with Chandra. Yeah, let's give that a shot. Let's go for Electro Dominance. Because we might be able to kind of jam a Chandra really quick. I think I kind of like this. So they will be able to swing in for 11. We got Electro Dominance for 6. That's going to be just enough for us to drop in Chandra at the end of our opponent's turn. In fact, we're going to put a stop on the end of our opponent's instep. That way we can drop in Chandra. And that'll kind of, hopefully if we hit the land, actually, yeah, we'll still be able to go for Sarkhan next turn too anyway. So, all right, so they're going to be able to swing in. That's going to be 9. That's going to be 14 coming across. And Electro Dominance is one of my favorite cards. I love this card. There's a lot of good stuff you can do with this card. And we'll see what else they're going to go for. But if they stop at the end step, we're going to go for this Electro Dominance. Click OK on that. All right, so let's go. Electro Dominance, it's going to be 6. I wish we could go for 15. That'd be awesome. Let's go 6 up top to our opponent. Oh, excuse me, I miscounted because it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, we only have 5 mana. Excuse me. All right, so we need to go for Jaya. Excuse me. There we go. So we're going to go 5 damage to our opponent. Sorry about that. I was thinking Chandra in my head, but we need to drop in Jaya. All right, so let's have Jaya enter the battlefield. We're going to gain a life that, that kind of does matter. I can have Jaya enter. And then that's going to be our turn. So we run into Cryptic Caves. Let's go and have Cryptic Caves enter the battlefield. And we go for Sarkhan. I think it's going to be hard for us to close this one out, but at least we're going to make it really hard for our opponent. So we're going to have Sarkhan enter the battlefield. We're going to gain an extra life. Let's go for the 2 damage to our opponent. It's going to put them down to 11. Let's go for the +1. Have our dragons, planeswalkers turn into dragons. Swing in for 4. Oh, you could see where if we would have been able to drop in Embercleave, how fun that would have been. But that's going to be, let's see, because they actually go for Oko, turn into another creature. Yeah, they're going to be able to get on this one. But this is a pretty good showing of what we're trying to do with the deck. It is unfortunate that we did run into 2 5-color decks in a row. That's just, when you have access to all the colors and you have a pretty strong deck. So they're going to be swinging in. They're actually, instead of swinging in at us, they're actually going to swing at our planeswalkers. It's going to be 3 up top. So, okay, that's going to get rid of Jaya. That's going to knock us down to 10. And we'll definitely put him back in the command zone. Yeah, they're going to be able to get in on combat damage pretty much next turn. The only thing that we can do is we'd almost have to rip... Yeah, we just don't have the mana to do that. So we can go for Chandra at least. Because that'll be Chandra, and that'll still leave us 2 mana left over. Yeah, we'll still go and do this. So let's have Chandra enter the battlefield. We're going to gain a life. And then we're just going to go for the target creature or planeswalker. They're still going to get it on this one because that's going to be 11. So we'll simply just go for the We'll go for the +1, so or the +2, and get that down. So you can see what the deck's trying to do. Unfortunately, our opponent was able to ramp us out a little bit quicker, and we got it down pretty close. We had some, and there's some pretty interesting strategies. Can you just imagine getting an Ember Cleave on one of your planeswalkers as you swing in with the entire crew? That is a very good feeling. But unfortunately, we were able to lock up a win on this one. But with us, I think let's see if they want to. Yeah, they swing in 5 and 3. That's going to knock us down to 5, and they're just going to keep getting rid of the Planeswalker. So we'll see what we draw into next turn, but we're pretty much drawing dead at this point right now, especially them being able to cash in live tokens. But I think they could have gotten it swinging in with that damage right there. So, all right, so I'm going to exile a few more stuff out of the graveyard. We're just getting picked apart. It's like almost, Kaya's almost like scavenging ooze. And then we draw into Chandra's Regulator. So these are some really good utility stuff for the deck, but it's not going to give us the win. So we're going to go and scoop this one up on this. And a good game to our opponent. They're able to lock this one out. And definitely might want to build Niv-Mizzet in the future. But if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.